Hello, metalheads. I'm back with my first review of 2025. And for this one, we are traveling to Catalonia, Spain to check out the third album from Onirophagus. Let's see what this doom metal band has to offer on their third outing. All right, so yes, Onirophagus is releasing Revelations from the Void on January 17th, 2025 on Personal Records. This is their third album overall, but their first for this label. The first two were released through Extreme Music, which kind of makes sense, being a Spanish band and a Spanish label. Onirophagus is a band I do not have any previous experience with. But there's some interesting tidbits here about why I picked this to review, because it was kind of a blind pick. And these little facts might help, steer other bands in a direction. And like, here's how you get somebody's attention if you want them to check out your band for the first time. First off, very cool band name. Onirophagus roughly translates from Greek as Dream Devourer. And that just sounds pretty freaking cool. Second thing that caught my eye on this was literally the cover artwork. It's by Paolo Gerardi. He's very well known for doing a ton of heavy metal artwork and covers. He's worked for some pretty well-known bands at this point, ranging from, Hyperdontia to Sulphur Eon. He did the excellent cover artwork for Seven Crowns and Seven Steels, Varathrons, The Crimson Temple. He's worked with Bell Witch, Bewitcher. The list is a mile long on Metal Archives. Great art, great artist, very in demand, and the cover art for this album is just flat out outstanding. So you got a cool band with a cool name, cool logo, and cool album art. It's like, sure, I have no idea what this is, but based on these visual cues, I will give it a chance. So yeah, maybe it's not the smartest way to try to decide what you might like and what you might not like. But, hey, I think as metalheads, we're all guilty of doing this from time to time. And I'll say it right up front, this panned out really, really well because I'm really impressed with this new album from the band. Onirophagus, for those who are not familiar, they are a doom metal band, but trying to put them into a specific subgenre or style of doom is no easy task because they're actually incorporating elements from all over Doom's melancholic landscape and kind of stitching these different parts together to create their own sound. Now, on paper, this may sound like a bad idea. It's like, can you really take Death Doom and, melodic Doom and atmospheric Doom and is it just going to feel really weird and, patchworky if you put all that into the same song? It could, but Onirophagus managed not to do that whatsoever. All of the band members have been in other projects, and the core of the lineup has been stable since they started out around 2013. The only new member on this outing is guitarist Ozan. And it shows that, yeah, there's chemistry here and they know what they are doing because they're able to take these different styles of Doom and use different parts for different sections of songs, but the transitions are very smooth and feel very natural, and it allows them to create a very interesting sound. You hear a great example of this right away on the lead track, Hollow Valley. The opening track is over 10 minutes in length, and usually that's something that will kind of make me worry that, is this really the way you want to open your album? Can you make a strong enough statement right out of the gate to hold the listener's attention for 11 minutes? Onirophagus managed to do it absolutely fine here, and a big part of it is, again, moving and transitioning through different styles of Doom in different parts of the song. For example, when the song opens up, you hear very slow, heavy, monolithic riffs and a very deep, dry growl in a death metal style. It immediately conjures up images of classic Evoken. And so you start out thinking, okay, I guess they're working in sort of an almost funeral doom pattern here. But within just a minute or so, they're changing directions a little bit. The vocals change from that kind of deep underground, emanations from a Tome style to a more, hoarse and shouted voice, someone who's, emerged from the darkness and is standing on the cliff tops, shouting a warning to the people below who may or may not heed their words. The music changes pace, and it does this several times throughout the song. You have sections that conjure up memories of While Heaven Wept and that kind of melancholic, slightly melodic doom that they were so good at during their peak. And it continues to transition through faster sections, slower tempos, back and forth. And as such, you get to the end of the song, and everything has flowed together perfectly. And you've got a really strong opening statement. And I feel like it is a statement. The band is telling you with this opening track that they are not going to be pigeonholed in any one particular style of doom metal. That, again, they're going to pick and choose things from all their influences, and they're going to work them together into a very cohesive and very well crafted whole. Track number 2 starts out again very slow and very heavy. This one is called Land Sickness. And again, you're immediately thinking of kind of classic turn of the century Evoken, the really pitch black, dark, slow, and heavy stuff. So yeah, once again, the song makes you think that, okay, we're in Death Doom territory and kind of right on the border with Funeral Doom. But as the song progresses, it changes styles. And by the end of the song, it's picked up tempo quite a bit. It's transitioned into other styles, but it all works together very, very well. The third track is called The Tome, and here they break out yet another influence because within the first opening stanzas of the track, you hear some violin start to creep in, sad, mournful, and it will instantly make you start wondering, when exactly is the last time I heard My Dying Bride's Symphonaire Infernus? It very much has that exact particular tone to the way the violin is produced and played, and it works quite well here. They use it very sparingly. It's just a little bit in the song, enough to show you that, yes, they're going to do a little bit of that gothic Peaceville 3 doom here as well. That's also in their repertoire, and it's going to be blended into their own unique doom metal delivery here also. So you get yet another very cool track. The Tome has some very nice, expansive sections to it, and again, the violin absolutely nails it. Next up on track 4, you have Black Brew. And this one, once again, shows the band pulling from many different doom metal influences and weaving them into their own sound and style. One thing I like in this particular track is right in the middle of it, you all of a sudden, once again, have something different pop up. The violin comes back in, but this time it's not the sort of sad, warm kind of violin we associate with early My Dying Bride. No, this time it's, very jarring, screechy, scratchy, very angst-ridden type of sound. It's disturbing. It's something is not right here, and it creates disquiet and unease. Once again, it's a very short portion of the song. It's just enough to kind of jar you and make you think that, oh, wait, this song is now going in a different direction. And again, this is to the band's credit. Doom metal, it's a style that some people will complain is too boring, that the songs can get too monotonous, and being played at slower tempos can sort of accentuate that. But by constantly adding these different little touches and flourishes, transitioning from a death doom portion to a faster Candlemass-inspired riff, all of those things keep these songs moving, they hold the listener's attention, and make for a really enjoyable listening experience. The riffs, I should point out, these are not riffs that are going to dazzle people who are really into guitar tech, but they are riffs that are very, very effective at doing what they need to here, which is achieve a certain atmosphere. So you may not go away from the album remembering lots of individual outstanding riffs, but when you're listening to the songs, you will very much feel like, yes, these are the exact kind of leaden, heavy riffs that are necessary for this type of music. So, yeah, big kudos on the riff writing. Fits the music absolutely perfectly throughout the album. The album then wraps up with the fifth and last track. So, yes, only 5 songs here. The closer, Stargazing into the Void, is a 15-minute track. So, you have another very long song here. And again, these longer tracks, a lot of times, for me personally, uh, you got to write a really good song to hold my attention for 15 minutes straight. Most bands are not capable of that. You might have a good riff here or there. Maybe the beginning's good, but the middle you just kind of wander off. But much like on the opening track, Onirophagus managed to keep the song interesting and dynamic all the way through. Once again, incorporating lots of different doom metal elements to keep things constantly changing so that you're not sure what's going to happen next. But again, the transitions are going to be very seamless. They're going to feel very natural. There's no jumping randomly, no fast cuts from style to style. Somehow they managed to, pick and choose the best little elements from Catatonia over here, Candlemass over there, My Dying Bride over here, and put it all together. And this song again features some of that wonderful My Dying Bride inspired violin work that just helps give it that perfect little touch of Peaceville doom. All right, so in conclusion, what do we have with this particular album, Revelations from the Void? What I think you've got is a really unique delivery in doom metal because it's something that is not trying to be just like Candlemass or just like Sabbath. Onirophagus isn't trying to fit just into a stoner category or into Saint Vitus worship. Again, they're doing a little bit of everything, but the way they are putting it all together makes it really interesting and it holds up very well to repeat listens. I've played this album a lot of times over the past 2 weeks, and going from just, a blind pick in terms of what looks interesting on the promo list today to playing something, a dozen times or more over a 2 week span, that really speaks to the band's strengths at putting these different motifs together and creating something that I don't think you hear a lot of doom metal bands do. A lot of doom metal bands, they find their lane very quickly and they stay in their lane. And there's nothing wrong with that, but if you're wearing your influences on your sleeve and you only have 1 or 2 influences, those are the kinds of albums that can lose my interest. They don't hold up to repeat listens, and sometimes they just sit on the shelf and never get played very often. But I think Onirophagus has a formula here that's going to be a lot more interesting and hold up better over time. We'll see if that's true. Is this something that is going to get a lot of repeat listens throughout the year? I want to keep coming back to it over and over. Won't know until time goes by. But I think it actually has the possibility of doing that. This doesn't feel like an album I'm going to just put away now that the review is done. And, 6 months from now, I'll be like, oh, yeah, where did that come from? No, 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 no. I really do like the way this album is built. I think it's a really interesting take on doom metal. And yeah, I hope people will check it out. If you're interested in doom, I would very much encourage you to give this one a chance. Check out what the band is delivering, because I think these are well-crafted songs. They've got a good identity to their band, and I wish them really good luck with the release. And once again, the album is going to be out January 17th on Personal Records. It is entitled Revelations from the Void. Should definitely check it out if you get a chance. All right, let's do a call to arms here. This first one is for a black metal project. It's primarily a one-man project. Bryce is located in France, and the project is called From Chaos. Bryce is known for playing live with different projects over the years, including Dissection around the Reign Chaos era, and also playing live with Satyricon at times. So, yeah, the guy has some bona fide street cred when it comes to classic Scandinavian black metal. And he reached out to Heavy Metallurgy with a promo of the debut material from Chaos, asking us, if we liked it, could we kind of sort of help spread the word? And it's a pretty good listen because, it's you can tell that it's mainly him. I think he has one person assisting, and you can tell maybe they're working all with limited resources, but nevertheless, the songwriting does show through. And yeah, it's very solid Scandinavian influenced black metal. Bryce's kind of statement with the explanation of what he was trying to accomplish with From Chaos is that he wanted to try to get back to that more classic sound from a lot of those kind of second wave bands when they started to hit their stride in the mid to late 90s, and you get away from just so much processing and gimmickry and just deliver that style of black metal. And again, even though the sound here is somewhat limited on these recordings, I think he definitely proves that he can accomplish that, and it'll be interesting to see what he can do moving forward. All right, and here's a call to arms for an album that came out at the very end of 2024. I always feel bad for those December releases because they just don't get much attention. It seems like as soon as the calendar turns over to December, everyone wants to start putting together their best of the year lists, and it's like, but you still have a month. There might be something you should be listening to now, and wait a few more weeks on that best of list. But yeah, people love the best of end of year lists. They're really excited to do them, but it does mean some December releases slip through the cracks a bit. And a great example of this happened in 2024 with the Swiss band Aara. This is a, again, Swiss black metal project. It's their sixth album in 6 years. They've released a full studio album every year since 2019. The album is titled Eiger, and it's the first album after they completed a 3-album triad that was all based on sort of telling the story from a classic Gothic novel. Eiger now heads off in a different direction, with the band drawing influences from the mountain Eiger, which is part of the Swiss Alps. And it's a concept album telling the story of an ill-fated attempt to scale the North Face in the 1930s, where all 4 members of the climbing party, died during the attempt. If you're not familiar with Aara, they play atmospheric black metal. They typically play very fast, pummeling double bass lines, very fast, very good tremolo leads all over the place, and very kind of high, somewhat shrill female black metal vocals. The vocals will probably be the sticking point for some people. They can be a little rough on the ears. They don't bother me personally. I actually think she delivers them very well. But I can see where some people may listen to this and feel like the vocals are just a little too strong for them. However, she's definitely refined her vocal technique over the past several albums, and I feel like Eiger may be one of the band's strongest albums to date. They've started to back off relying on pure speed as much as they used to, and they're incorporating a lot of different elements into the sound. More acoustic work, for instance, is showing up on Eiger. The vocal approach, again, shows more refinement, better control and use of her voice. It's a fantastic listen. Because it came out in December and my copy was delayed in getting delivered, I've only had a chance to play it a few times so far. But it's a band that I've really enjoyed their past several albums. And again, I already feel like Eiger might be their most impressive and most varied work to date. So if you missed that one, definitely check out Aara's Eiger. Don't get so caught up looking for new 2025 releases that you don't go back and check out some of the things that you might have missed at the end of 2024. right, that is going to do it for this review. Thank you for tuning in. Remember, we try to get a new album review up once every week when possible. Mike Seatown very kindly did a fantastic review last week on the new album from The Halo Effect. Don't let the negative reviews on Metal Archives about that band's debut scare you away from them. It's a great album. Mike did a fantastic job with the review on it. I'd highly recommend checking that one out too. But also check out this new Onirophagus album. If you're a doom metal fan, I think you're going to be pretty impressed with what they have to offer. Until next time, everybody take care. Check out more live streams and videos here on Heavy Metallurgy. And as always, keep banging your head.